Masturbation is actually one of the healthiest habits a man can have to support his sexual well-being. It's natural, normal, and can bring real benefits. But here's something most men never hear. You might be doing it the wrong way. And without even realizing it, these common mistakes could be quietly weakening your sexual performance over time. That's why I want you to stay with me, because in just a moment, we're going to walk through each of those habits, and more importantly, I'll show you how to correct them. These mistakes can contribute directly to issues like erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation. If not addressed, they can gradually make things worse, and in some cases, a complete loss of desire. Let's begin with something important. Masturbation is not something to feel embarrassed or ashamed about. It's a completely normal and healthy part of life for men of all ages. It doesn't replace intimacy with your partner, but rather, it can help enhance it. When practiced mindfully, it can reduce stress, help you sleep better, and even support the health of your prostate. Recent studies published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine show that over 90% of men engage in this activity regularly throughout their lives. So you're not alone. And again, this is not about stopping the habit, it's about understanding how to do it in a way that benefits you, especially as you age. Now here's the part most people don't talk about. Masturbation is actually a form of training for your body's sexual reflexes. Your brain is constantly learning, constantly building habits through a process called neuroplasticity. What you do repeatedly becomes hardwired into your nervous system, and that includes your sexual responses. So every time you masturbate, you're reinforcing patterns. You're teaching your brain and your body what feels good, how you respond, and how long you last. And just like any kind of training, the quality of your practice matters. Think of it like learning to drive a stick-shift car. If you learn the right way, shifting gears smoothly and coordinating your feet properly, you develop good control. But if you practice the wrong way, hitting the clutch too hard, or changing gears at the wrong time, you build bad habits, and the car may stall right when you need it most. And once those habits set in, they can be difficult to unlearn. The same thing happens in your sex life. When done properly, masturbation can help you build control, boost your confidence, and increase your stamina during intimacy. On the other hand, doing it the wrong way can lead to premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, and a sense of disconnection from your partner. I'm Dr. Laura, and today I want to help you change that. We're going to explore the 3 most common mistakes men make when it comes to masturbation, especially as they get older. And more importantly, I'll share with you some simple, practical ways to correct them. Techniques that are easy to apply and can make a real difference in your confidence, performance, and long-term sexual health. Think of this as preventive medicine for your sex life. Just like you would visit your doctor for chest pain or a persistent headache, being proactive about your sexual health can save you years of stress, frustration, and unnecessary strain in your relationships. These mistakes can affect men at any age, but for men over 60, the consequences can be even more serious. As we age, the body doesn't adapt as quickly, and bad habits can take a heavier toll. The first and perhaps most harmful mistake is masturbating frequently and in a rushed manner, with the sole goal of reaching orgasm as quickly as possible. You may be worried about being interrupted, or perhaps it's simply become a mindless habit. Whatever the reason, what you're doing is engaging in a frantic race to the finish line. Here's why that can be devastating to your sex life. When you repeatedly ejaculate within just a few minutes, or even seconds, you are essentially training yourself to experience premature ejaculation. Your brain learns that sexual stimulation and orgasm are supposed to happen in a quick, explosive burst. As a result, when you're with your partner and you want to last longer, you often find that you can't, because your body has been conditioned to end things quickly. This creates a vicious cycle. You begin to worry about finishing too soon. That fear and anxiety can then cause you to lose your erection altogether, leading to erectile dysfunction. The simplest and most effective solution is discipline. You need to slow down. Turn the sprint into a marathon. Give yourself a dedicated space and at least 20 to 30 minutes of uninterrupted private time. At this point, the goal is no longer fast release, but rather to explore and extend the experience. Focus on becoming aware of your level of arousal on a scale from 1 to 10. Practice reaching levels 8 or 9 where you feel very close to climax, then consciously slow down or stop completely. Allow the intensity to drop to about level 6, and then gradually build it back up again. This technique, clinically known as edging, helps develop your ability to control ejaculation. Most men notice significant improvement in their control within 4 to 6 weeks of consistent, patient practice. The second major mistake is becoming overly dependent on pornography for arousal. This issue has become increasingly common with the widespread availability of high-speed internet and online adult content. A simple analogy can help illustrate the point. Pornography is like junk food for your brain's sexual system. It's highly stimulating, easy to access, and feels good in the moment, but it offers no real nourishment and can lead to serious long-term health consequences. When you masturbate while watching pornography, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical responsible for pleasure and motivation. The constant novelty, visual intensity, and unrealistic scenarios in pornography create what neuroscientists call the supernormal stimulus, which overwhelms the brain's dopamine system. Over time, your brain requires increasingly stronger stimulation to reach the same level of arousal. Real-life intimacy with a partner, no matter how attractive or loving they are, simply can't compete with the ever-changing, hyperstimulating input of porn. Porn-induced erectile dysfunction, PID, is now being recognized in medical literature as a real condition that affects a man's ability to maintain an erection during actual sexual encounters. You're essentially comparing a nourishing, home-cooked meal like a medium-rare grilled steak with roasted potatoes and a can of soda with a fast food snack. The fast food might offer quick pleasure and convenience, but it's the real, balanced meal that truly sustains your body and supports long-term health. So what's the solution? The solution lies in what psychologists call cognitive retraining, gently rewiring the brain away from artificial stimulation and reconnecting with natural arousal responses. Start by taking a complete break from visual pornography. This might feel difficult at first, because your brain has become accustomed to the instant gratification of this kind of stimulation. Most men need 30 to 90 days of complete abstinence from pornography to reset their arousal pathways and allow the brain to respond normally again. During this period, focus on using your imagination instead of external visual stimuli. Think about past intimate experiences with partners, create realistic fantasies, or focus purely on physical sensations. This helps rebuild your brain's natural arousal pathways. If you need transitional support, consider audio content or written erotica rather than visual materials. These engage your imagination while providing some external stimulation, serving as a bridge between pornography dependence and complete mental self-reliance. Many men in their 40s, 50s, and beyond report that eliminating pornography not only improves their erectile function, but also enhances their emotional connection and satisfaction with their partners. The third mistake is repetition and lack of variety. You masturbate the same way every time, using the same hand, the same grip, the same pressure, the same speed, and often in the same position, such as lying face down on the bed. The human penis contains thousands of sensitive nerve endings designed to respond to a wide range of touch, pressure, and motion. When you consistently rely on just one specific type of stimulation, especially intense pressure, those nerve endings become conditioned to respond only to that exact sensation. As a result, when you're with a partner, the feeling of vaginal or oral stimulation may seem less intense. Natural lubrication and gentle pressure from a partner can feel inadequate. Your body has been trained to expect a much higher level of stimulation than what occurs during normal intercourse. The consequence is that you may find it difficult to get or maintain an erection during sex. You've conditioned your body to respond to a level 10 out of 10 in intensity. So now, even a very pleasurable level the 8th may feel like it's not enough. The immediate solution is to diversify your stimulation. You need to introduce variety into your masturbation habits and change your technique regularly. At times, use just your fingertips. At other times, try using your whole palm. Experiment with different stroking patterns and speeds. The goal is to keep your nervous system adaptable and responsive. If you always use your right hand, switch to your left hand and ease up on your grip. Use a lubricant to reduce friction and change the sensation, allowing for gentler stimulation. Try masturbating in different locations and in different positions as sitting, standing, or lying on your back. Each position creates slightly different sensations and helps your body remain responsive to a range of stimuli. This makes transitioning to partner sex much smoother, because your body is no longer dependent on one rigid, repetitive routine. Most men report noticeable improvements in sensitivity and a more fulfilling sexual experience with their partner within just 3 to 4 weeks of making these changes. Now that we've covered the 3 major mistakes, let's talk about how to implement these changes in a practical, sustainable way. First, don't try to change everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 areas where you recognize the biggest problems and focus on those first. Trying to overhaul all your habits simultaneously usually leads to frustration and giving up. Start with a 2-week assessment period. Pay attention to your current patterns without trying to change them yet. Notice when, how, and why you masturbate. This awareness is the foundation for meaningful change. Then, implement changes gradually. If you're addressing the speed trap, start by extending your sessions by just 5 to 10 minutes. If you're tackling death grip syndrome, begin by reducing pressure slightly and using lubrication. Expect an adjustment period. Your body and brain have been conditioned by years or decades of certain patterns. It typically takes 4 to 8 weeks to notice significant improvements, and 3 to 6 months for new patterns to become natural. Track your progress. Keep a simple log of changes you notice, not just in masturbation, but in overall sexual confidence, erectile quality, and if applicable, partnered sexual experiences. Be patient with setbacks. It's normal to occasionally revert to old patterns, especially during stressful periods. Don't view this as failure. Simply return to your new practices without self-judgment. If you're in a relationship, consider sharing appropriate aspects of this journey with your partner. You don't need to discuss intimate details, but letting them know you're working on improving your sexual health can reduce performance pressure and increase support. Remember, seeking help for sexual health concerns is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. If you're experiencing persistent problems despite making these changes, don't hesitate to consult with a healthcare provider who specializes in men's sexual health. Your sexual well-being matters at every stage of life. By implementing these evidence-based strategies, you're taking control of an important aspect of your health and relationships. If this information has been helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more honest, science-based discussions about men's health. Your engagement helps us reach other men who need this information, but might be too embarrassed to search for it themselves. What's your experience been with any of these issues? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help another man realize he's not alone in facing these challenges. Take care of yourselves, gentlemen, and remember, it's never too late to improve your sexual health and confidence.